Growing Light by George Ella Lyon. I write this poem out of darkness to you, who are also in darkness because our lives demand it. This poem is a hand on your shoulder, a bone touch to go with you through the hard birth of vision. In other words, love shapes this poem. It's the fist that holds the chisel, the muscle that drags marble and burns with the weight of believing a face lies in the stone, a breathing word in the body. I tell you, though the darkness has been ours, words will give our eyes opened in promise, a growing light.
Well, the moon is broken and the sky is cracked. Come on up to the house. The only things that you can see is all that you lack. You gotta come on up to the house. All your crying don't do no good. Come on up to the house. Come down off the cross. We can use the wood. You gotta come on up to the house. Come on up to the house. Everybody, come on up to the house. Come home is not my home. I'm just passing through. Come on up to the house. There's no light in the tunnel, no irons in the fire. Come on up to the house, and you're singing lead soprano in a junk man's choir. You gotta come on up to the house. Does life seem nasty, brutish and short? Come on up to the house. The seas are stormy, you can't find no port. Come on up to the house, yeah, yeah. You gotta come on up to the house. Everybody, come on up to the house. The world is not my home, I'm just passing through. You gotta come on up to the house, yeah, yeah. You gotta come on up to the house. You gotta come on up to the house. The world is not my home, I'm just passing through. You gotta come on up to the house. There's nothing in the world that you can't do. You gotta come on up to the house. And you've been whipped by the forces that are inside of you. Come on up to the house. Come on. Well, you're high on top of your mountain of woe. Come on up to the house. Well, you know you should surrender, but you can't let go. You gotta come on up to the house, yeah. Gotta come on up to the house. Well, you gotta come on up to the house. Come home, it's not my home, I'm just passing through. You gotta come on up to the house. Okay. Madam President, nice to see you.
Thank you, everyone, for your time this evening. We'll try to keep this meeting brief, but we do have a lot to get through.
I'm just glad to have something to take my mind off the election.
Oh,
Don't
Do
even
we
get
have
me
to talk
started
about
with the
that?
election. I'm so
Election?
upset.
Are you serious?
Okay, everyone. I know we all have big feelings about the election, but this is not the place.
all I know is if it lasts more than 4 hours, you better call your doctor.
That's an erect.
Folks, we have a special guest with us this evening, and we need to make sure he has time to speak. Shayna, would you like to give your report?
Yeah. So 2024 has been like a really exciting year for our kids. There was just like it wasn't even there was just the one little mishap.
Oh, it's always something at this place.
The kids were really inspired by the Maccabees revolt.
Inspired to burn down the sukkah.
Listen, we're not as good about cleaning up after Sukkot as we are for decorating for it, okay? But look at the silver lining. It's the most enthusiastic B'nai Mitzvot class we've had in years.
Kids these days, burning down the show one Hanukkah at a time.
The sukkah was ugly anyway.
And too small.
But it was insured.
I moved that we form a subcommittee to explore hiring an architect for the new sukkah.
We can't build a new sukkah until we address the current former one.
Oh, and the paving has to come out too. Those melted plastic pumpkins really did a number.
Oy.
Not to mention the blood stains.
Simon had a lighter. We didn't know. The kids, they grabbed a bunch of Shabbos candles and they went outside where there's like a blind spot on the camera. They were playing Hasmoneans versus Romans. And well, it didn't take much for that old dried corn to catch.
So where were the other teachers?
Okay, that's a fair question. We were dealing with an issue. Two of our madrachim were caught canoodling on the bema.
Rabbi saw the smoke from his office. He ran outside. He slipped in the melted plastic and wax and hit his head on the pavement.
Oh my God.
We're not again.
Terrible.
He's
Poor
expected to make a full recovery, but for now,
He has amnesia.
And we have a workman's comp claim.
Matzo ball soup, that's what he needs. Let's get my pot out.
that's a lovely gesture, Goldie, but I'm afraid that's not really the solution here.
Yep, I bet we did pollute the atmosphere.
Well, okay, so the issues as I see them are one, how to hold these kids accountable for their actions without squashing their love of Jewish history. And two, of course, how we function as a synagogue with a rabbi who currently thinks he's a Methodist.
I move that we form a subcommittee to search for an interim rabbi.
No. Tonight, we are here to do some safety training. Temple Beth Shpilkes has had so many incidents that the fire chief personally asked to meet with the board to make sure it doesn't happen again.
So, I'm so embarrassed. We should change our name.
How about the Kenneth External Flame?
Or the B'nai Burning Bush.
Oh, that's good. We should lean into our claim to fame.
Before we get too far off course here, please allow me to introduce Chief Kilometers, who has graciously volunteered his time and expertise to make sure we don't lose our insurance. Take it away, Chief.
Who does he think he is, the Calgon man?
Evening, everybody. It's nice to not see you all in the glow of emergency lights for once. Now listen, I know y'all have had some trouble, and I want to reassure you that I'm not here to be the bad guy. I'm here to help. Fires are very dangerous.
And very expensive.
That's right. While we want you to be able to practice all your religious traditions, I'm afraid we are all going to have to go to ask you to change them just for a little while.
Until the entire board has passed online fire awareness training.
How can we have a fire if it's raining?
What kind of changes?
Well, for starters, no more open flames.
Oh, we can't do
We
that.
can't possibly do that. We have to light
Fun.
candles. It's so important.
Our
You
heritage.
all can use battery-operated LED candles. They're pretty cheap on a pack of 48.
Yeah, excuse me. The blessing clearly states that we are commanded to kindle the lights of Hanukkah. We can't kindle an electric bulb.
Are we supposed to say a bracha over a battery?
My arthritic hands can't manage that tiny switch.
On the other hand, it would certainly eliminate that awkward minute in the service where everyone stares at you trying to get a lighter to work or a match to strike.
Shayna and I have already removed all the lighters, matches, and even an old flint we found, so there's no fire starting at the shul.
I can recommend that you remove all the candles as well.
Okay, but what about Havdalah? You can't braid an LED candle.
Remember, this is to make everyone safer. And it's just temporary until our rabbi gets well.
You bet we're not going to hell. No candles at Hanukkah? Shouldn't.
Anything else, Chief?
No hot meals. After that Latke disaster, you folks shouldn't be cooking anything in that building.
If everyone brings latkes they cooked at home, we'll be eating them stone cold.
Ew. And soggy. Hanopia.
Well, look, folks, it's not all bad news. I've come bringing Hanukkah gifts.
Look, we used some money from the discretionary fund to have Chief Kilometer order us some custom safety gear.
Ooh.
There's a gift bag for all y'all waiting at the synagogue.
I hope there's gelt.
We should all feel a lot of guilt.
You each have an asbestos-lined talit, so you can daven while you smother flames. There's a spinning fire extinguisher. That's fun. It's just like a dreidel. Fire goes out and everybody wins.
Could you just do me one favor and mount them up high so the kids can't abuse them?
And last but not least, there's the personal protection talit kipot. The outside of it is fire retardant. So you just turn them inside out and place them over the flames to extinguish. The lining can be used as a mask to prevent smoke inhalations as you leave the building.
Well, now they've thought of everything.
Well, wonders never cease.
It's a Hanukkah miracle.
How will we light a Chanukiah for the congregation if we can't use fire?
You just use one of them there electric kinds where you screw in the bulb.
What if the electrodes touch in the socket and a fire starts?
Don't borrow trouble.
You'll have a reason to use one of your new fire suppression gear.
How long do we need to leave the bulbs burning?
Well, 15 minutes. That's how long the candles burn.
But there aren't any candles. Someone has to unplug the thing. That's working on Shabbat.
Can we get a solar-powered Chanukiah?
Who's going to program it to light the right number of bulbs every night?
Should someone turn it off in the morning?
We can't use it if it's going off without warning.
Call the rabbi. He knows the halakha.
We can't call the rabbi. He's out of commission.
Hey,
Hey,
Who knows? Who's even in
Wait,
charge?
wait. Wait, just 1 minute. How many watts should each bulb be?
Oh,
Ah.
God, here we go.
Oy.
That's a good idea. Yeah.
Come on up to the house. There are a few phrases more comforting. First, it denotes there's a house to which you can come. Second, that the house is worthy of being a home. No dilapidated hovel this. No, this house is a place where memories are made, where friends and family gather, and where bonds are strengthened, and you have an open invitation. In fact, they're expecting you. Come on up to the house, baby. Get you something to eat. A little more or less, honestly, time is a construct. Then 2 decades ago, I was homeless. I didn't know that I was homeless. I had a mailbox, and most of my belongings, though in boxes, were stored underneath me, below me in the building. I had a place to lay my head. In fact, I slept on a proper mattress with sheets and quilts that my grandmother made. For a homeless person, that's pretty good. Every morning when I woke up, though, the condensation from my breath would have gone up to the metal panels of the roof and dripped down and frozen, and there would be a crust of ice on top of me. Now, the Pacific Northwest doesn't get as cold as other places, but it got cold enough that the garden hose I used as a shower froze, and cold enough that I grew ill and gaunt. Cold enough that I finally moved into a borrowed camping trailer, just a little 10, 12 footer with propane heat. This is the little lamp that I used in the pole barn. It's not big. It doesn't look like much. In fact, it's meant to be decorative. But for me, all those years ago, this meant survival. This was the light by which I found my way to bed. And I could feel the heat of the flame. Real, not imagined. I could tell the difference when it went out. The difference one little lamp made. And even though I had my dogs and a cell phone with precious few minutes, this lamp helped me feel not alone in the dark world. That winter, for the first time in my life, perhaps, I'd chosen myself. I chose to leave an abusive marriage. I chose to keep my animal family intact instead of going to live with friends or family who wouldn't allow them or didn't have room for my horses. I chose to make my own way in the world as a young woman, and it cost me dearly. Any battle worth fighting always has a cost. And to this day, I cannot tell you that that period of my life had a reason or a purpose. To twist an old joke about every Jewish holiday, it's a miracle I survived. He tried to kill me. I didn't have enough to eat. That experience was my Maccabee moment. The time when I hid in an unlocked barn rather than continue to experience abuse and forcible assimilation. When I took a stand for who I was and what I believed in. And when I would have rather faced death than bow to a tyrant. I looked at my meager resources and said, if this is all I have by which to survive, okay then. It will take me time to make more, and Baruch Hashem, I will have that time and I'll get what I need. But I'm not waiting for that time to come. I'm gonna keep on living. I see a lot of pearl clutching online these days. Someone should do something. Things are bad and they're getting worse. Who will step up? The Maccabees had to build their own army of peasants and priests. No one came to save them from Antiochus. They made it their mission to save themselves and each other. Come on up to the house, even if the house is a cave. You're welcome there. learn you some Torah, and later come on up to God's house. We lighten candles even if there's just enough oil for one day. We are doing this. We are deciding for ourselves that we're not waiting anymore to claim the light. All those years ago, one cruse of oil burned with the strength of 8. All those years ago, one flame kept me from freezing to death. One light is all it takes to spark a change. We don't light our Hanukkah in a closed room. We place it by the window to publicize the miracle. If you have windows and a roof, Mazel Tov, it's a good year. If not, remember, the spark of change happened in the Hasmoneans' cave. This world is not your home anyway. You're just passing through. But while you're here, make it a little brighter. Be the shamash you want to see in the world. Claim the light and put it in the window so others know to come up to your house. Make of your home a mikdash me'at, a little sanctuary full of gratitude and hope and nourishment for body and soul. May you be dedicated and blessed in the holy work of sharing light. After all, it's not the size of your candle. It's what you choose to light with it. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lihadlik ner shel Hanukkah.